Bonjour, and welcome back to French Detours. I'm Tracy Parent. Every now and then, you come across an authentic French bakery that makes you feel as if you were in Paris. The baguette is crunchy on the outside and soft in the middle. The croissants melt in your mouth, and there's a beautiful array of pastries, and you can't even imagine how you're going to choose one. I am lucky enough to have discovered 3 bakeries like this, one in Minnesota, one in Arizona, and one in Southern California. I'm delighted to introduce you to owner and chef Jenna Leurquin. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. We're happy to be here.
This is such a demanding job. What inspired you to become a pastry chef in the first place?
Well, that is true. It's a very, very demanding job, and I probably didn't know how physical and hard it would be when I signed up to do what I do today, but I still love it every day. I just always loved baking. It was like my happy escape. It was my happy place. And I always wanted to open a bakery. So I trained in France to become a pastry chef. I did Cordon Bleu in Paris first, and then trained among some of the best chefs in the world. And then I just wanted to bring this pastry to America because it's not as present here as it is in Europe, and I really thought it was missing. So I thought it was really a cool project to bring, my culture, my food, my pastries to the American customer. So.
Well, and we're so glad that you did. You do make a lot of the classics, but you also put your own unique spin on things. For example, your pistachio macaroon cake is my favorite thing in the world. So what inspires you to kind of put these little changes into the French classics?
Well, like you said, we have to stick with some of the classic, a baguette or a croissant and that kind of stuff, which I love also. But that's a part of the job that I really like, is that I come to work and I say, okay, how can we make it ours, not just out of a book? How can we personalize it a little bit? A lot of my customers' feedback do play a role in what we create. What do they like? Like, for example, our morning bun, we realized people really love that kind of like cinnamon spice and cardamom and vanilla. So we said, how can we turn a croissant into something that's really into the flavor profile of our customers? And same with the pistachio macaron. When I first opened my bakery, I used a lot of hazelnuts because in France, in Belgium, in Italy, we use a lot of hazelnut, specifically from Piedmont, which is a region in Italy. And I love hazelnut, so I would use hazelnut in everything. And Americans were just like, hazelnuts. And then I start noticing that they really were demanding a lot of our pistachio products, like our pistachio cookies or pistachio macaron. I say, okay, well, maybe there's a message there. Maybe we should start looking into pistachio a little bit more and calm down the hazelnut a little bit. So a lot of people even ask me, and their French customers ask me, a Paris Vrai, which is a classic French pastry, but it's usually made with hazelnut paste and hazelnut praline and all that stuff. And they even ask me, but can you make it with pistachio? So it really indicates that, like, my customers do have their own flavor profile, and we want to adjust some of our classics and some of our techniques to what they're looking for in terms of flavors.
Well, I do love hazelnuts as well, but your pistachio croissant is absolutely magical. So bravo for those new additions. So what is your favorite thing to make then?
It's the croissant, the plain classic butter croissant. It takes 3 to 4 days to make. And when the dough is just right and the butter is just right and you're folding it, and it's the most satisfying feeling and sensation. The dough just feels so good. And I love making croissant, really. Some days are tougher than other, just because some days are warmer, so the butter melts a little bit, and some days are colder, so the butter is a bit harder. Same with the levain. Everything we do is sourdough based, so our croissants are naturally fermented with our sourdough starter. And so some days the sourdough starter is like super active, super ready, and we can fold it right away. Some days it's just being slow, and it takes us at least a few hours to adjust and adapt. So it's a constant kind of, I don't know. It's a constant battle to getting it right. Every single day is so different, but it makes it so unique.
So you have two locations, correct?
Yes, we do. So we have two locations. We have one in Scottsdale that's been open for about a year now, almost a year and 1 month. And we have one in Central Phoenix that we opened at the end of last year, kind of like a soft opening through December, and then fully open January of this year.
Okay, great. And how has your business changed then during this time of confinement?
Quite significantly. We normally do a lot of catering events, wedding cakes, baby shower, bridal shower. Right at this time of the year, we normally start getting into graduation parties. A lot of our items, especially brunch items, are requested for those kind of catering events. So macarons, croissant, mini croissant, quiches, mini tartlets, baguettes for a cheese platter that we offer as well, open face sandwiches, but also for other kind of events, we provide coffee, tea, iced tea, like the full-on service. And so because of the pandemic, nobody is really meeting anymore and hosting parties or that kind of stuff. So we kind of don't host or cater for that kind of events. Not only that, but we normally also do a lot of farmers markets, a lot of pop-ups with other coffee shops, that kind of stuff that we don't currently do anymore. And on top of losing kind of those catering opportunities, we constantly battling and finding the ingredients that we need. So I know there's been like a shortage of flour through the stores. Thankfully, we still get our flour, so we can still make bread, croissant, but we don't always get our eggs, or we don't always get, certain other ingredients that we need, certain cheeses, certain ham, bacon sometimes. So every day is kind of a surprise of what we're going to be delivered. Some days we order certain products and we get delivered a completely different products. So we're like, okay, are we able to work with this, or should we not even bring in the kitchen? So it's a constantly like readjusting and see what we can do. So yeah, it's a challenge, but we're taking it heads on. We're remaining open, trying to really stay there for the community and provide what they can find elsewhere. So especially bread that they can find on the shelves and that kind of stuff.
Well, and I know that you have been available for takeout. We've been able to come in and just have limited people in shop to take takeout. And what other things have you been able to do for the community then?
So yes, we are always available for takeout, especially in our store in Scottsdale was mainly takeout to start with anyway. So we only allow one customer in the shop at a time, and we let them form a line outside the store, 6 feet apart. So we make sure that, there's social distancing being applied. We also really encourage our customers to pre-order on our website. Once they do, we give them the opportunity to give us a call when they're up front, and we'll literally bring it out to their trunk. So they just pull up in curbside, give us a call, tell us their name, and then we just deliver the pastries in their trunk, and they drive off, so they don't touch anything, and it's much safer like that. We also have a lot of more elderly customers that want to avoid grocery stores or that cannot find what they normally find. Simple things like oatmeal, milk, eggs, a little bit of flour for them to bake at home or do something, and they ask if we can provide it to them. So we've been able to give it back to them and provide what we could. So a lot of parents also with kids are like, I'm losing my mind, I need to bake cookies with my kids, can I have a little bit of AP flour? No problem. We give them a Ziploc bag with AP flour for them to keep busy and do something. So.
Oh, well, you are definitely a bright spot in the community, and I look forward to being able to dine in again very soon.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited to have everything back to normal, especially in our Phoenix location is much more of a sit down kind of shop, restaurant vibe. The concept of really Phoenix was for people to sit down and enjoy a meal together and take time off and just enjoy the food. So it's a little harder of a concept to suddenly order people to just take out only, have their coffee for takeout. So we really want to be able to get back into hosting people in our store and recenter this community around just having a meal, a good meal, and just enjoying the time. We're working on our menu for when we reopen, so we can offer a little bit more of a open face sandwiches, salads, that kind of stuff. We really wanted to offer, and so yeah, hopefully all of this can be over soon. But in the meantime, we'll remain open. We'll remain available for community, anything we can do to help, and baking bread every day for everyone. So
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
thank
And
you.
people can go ahead on and schedule out for catering orders. I'm assuming in the future now as well. You're
Of
kind of
course,
starting to get the
anytime you can
calendar
call
rolling.
me. I've had people contact me about parties in October, and I say no problem. We can figure something out. So
Okay. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. But now Arizona needs croissants. Off you go. Thank you
exactly.
so
Thank
much.
you. Yeah, thank you for having me. We're remain open and here for the community. So anything you need, let us know. And thank you again, Phoenix, Arizona, Scottsdale. We love being part of this community, and we'll get through it together.